Vikings get sold as raiders and explorers. Nobody talks about the engineering. How they survive 6 months of darkness and temperatures that kill modern hikers in hours. No electric heating, no Gore-Tex, no grocery stores. Just wood, stone, animal fat, and human ingenuity, keeping families alive when the sun disappears and the sea turns to iron. Which techniques worked, and which ones left skeletons in the snow? Start with the numbers. Experimental archaeology at Fotviken in Sweden put a reconstructed longhouse through winter 2003. External temperature, minus 32 Celsius. Internal temperature with period-accurate heating, plus 18. That's a 50-degree difference maintained with technology from 950 AD. How? The longhouse isn't shelter, it's a heat retention system. Archaeological evidence from Hedeby shows walls built in 3 layers. Inner layer, vertical oak planks chinked with moss and clay. Middle layer, birch bark waterproofing. Outer layer, horizontal oak boards creating dead airspace. The roof adds 2 more barriers. Birch bark over split logs, then turf 18 inches thick. Thermal mass. The sod holds daytime heat and releases it slowly through the night. But heat sources tell the real story. Hearth placement at Borg and Tamsheim. Lofoten follows precise rules. Central fire pit runs down the longhouse spine. Not random. Excavations show secondary hearths every 12 feet along the walls. Each family cluster gets warming space. Stone-lined fireboxes channel heat horizontally before venting. Smoke stays low, heat stays high. Sleeping platforms built 4 feet above floor level where warm air gathers. Fuel calculations from pollen analysis and charcoal finds. Oak burns hottest but fast. 2,000 BTUs per pound gone in 3 hours. Birch gives steady heat at 1,500 BTUs, burns 6 hours. Pine resin mixed with birch bark creates tinder that ignites in moisture. But winter storms could. Last week's fuel had to stretch. Mathematical precision governed fuel allocation. Excavations at Apocra show calculated wood storage, separate chambers for different burn types. Fast-burning kindling, birch twigs and pine shavings, stored in covered pits near hearths. Medium-burn fuel, split oak and ash logs, stacked in covered sheds with air circulation. Long-burn reserves, whole hardwood logs, stored in underground chambers to prevent moisture absorption. A household of 8 required 2 cords of mixed wood to survive December through March. Storage archaeology proves they calculated exactly. The Oseberg ship burial preserved the backup system. Whale oil and bronze lamps, seal blubber and iron. Bowls. Numbers from experimental burns. 1 pound of whale oil burns for 8 hours, putting out heat equivalent to 5 pounds of oak. A single gray whale provided heating oil for an entire settlement through winter. The 834 Oseberg burial included 7 oil lamps and containers holding 32 pounds of preserved blubber. Food energy matters more than comfort when your body burns 5,000 calories daily just staying warm. Coprolite analysis from Jorvik shows winter diet composition. Dried fish, 40% protein, 2,800 calories per pound. Fermented whale meat, 60% fat, 4,000 calories per pound. Preserved seal, pure fat, 7,000 calories per pound. A family of 6 needed 18,000 calories daily just to survive December through February. Storage techniques kept that food edible. The Spillings hoard on Gotland preserved meat in salt layers, alternating beef strips with coarse salt and wooden casks. Radiocarbon dating shows the system worked for decades. Fish hung in smokehouses at precise temperatures. Cold smoke at 70 degrees keeps fish for months without cooking it. Hot smoke at 140 degrees creates jerky that stores for years. Advanced preservation methods emerged from trial and error. Archaeological evidence from Burka shows honey preservation systems. Meat submerged in honey stays edible for years. Honey's antibacterial properties prevent decay. Clay vessels sealed with beeswax created airtight environments. Fish oil preservation. Whole fish packed in rendered seal oil, stored in wooden barrels. The oil creates oxygen-free environment, preventing bacterial growth. Excavated barrel contents from Hedeby still contained recognizable fish bones after centuries. Fermentation techniques multiplied food value. Archaeological testing of Norse. Fermentation pits shows controlled bacterial cultures. Fish heads and bones fermented with salt and wild herbs created protein-rich paste lasting months. Grain fermentation produced alcoholic beverages with calories and preserved vitamins. Archaeological evidence from Iceland shows specialized fermentation chambers, stone-lined pits with drainage systems maintaining optimal moisture and temperature for beneficial bacteria growth. If you value documented Viking and Norse era history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. Now, back to the story. This script is researched and factual, using sources from experimental archaeology projects and archaeological evidence from sites like Hedeby and Borg. Protein wasn't enough. Scurvy killed Arctic expeditions for 1,000 years after the Vikings. But Norse winter graves show no vitamin deficiency signs. The secret, fermented foods. Skyer preservation jars from Iceland hold bacterial cultures still alive after 100 years. Fermented fish provides vitamin C. Sauerkraut made from wild cabbage stored in pits gives vitamin K. Preserved cloudberries deliver vitamin A through the dark months. Body heat generation required precise caloric timing. Saga evidence from Egil's saga describes winter meal schedules. Morning, hot porridge with seal fat. Midday, dried fish and fermented butter. Evening, whale meat, stew with barley. Night snack, more milk with honey. 4 feeding cycles matched. To metabolism peaks. When external temperature drops, internal heat production must spike every 6 hours or hypothermia begins. Clothing systems layered like the longhouse walls. Linen undergarments against skin, wicks moisture away from body. Wool middle layer for insulation. Sheep wool holds warmth even when wet. Outer layer of felted wool or fur blocks waned. Archaeological textiles from Herjolfsnes preserve the exacted weave patterns. Wool thread count. 40 threads per inch creates insulation pockets. Looser weaves let body heat escape. Regional clothing adaptations matched local conditions. Greenland Norse graves show specialized Arctic gear. Polar bear fur caps with ear flaps. Sealskin mittens with wool liners. Leather over trousers with fur backing. Footwear archaeology reveals sophisticated cold weather engineering. Inner boot, soft leather with wool padding. Outer boot, waterproof sealskin. Between layers, dried grass insulation that compressed during wear, creating custom fit and additional warmth. Clothing maintenance required daily attention. Archaeological thread and needle finds prove constant repair work. Wool shrinkage from moisture needed regular stretching. Leather required oil treatment to prevent cracking. Fur needed cleaning to maintain insulation properties. Spare clothing. Stockpiled for winter replacements. Excavations at Kaupang show textile storage areas with multiple complete outfits per person. Clothing failure meant death. But the engineering gets specific. Footwear from the Dublin excavations shows layered construction. Inner sock, thin wool. Middle layer, thick felt made from compressed sheep hair. Outer boot, sealskin with fur inside, leather outside. Sole construction used tarred rope for traction on ice. Medieval cobbler experiments show this combination keeps feet warm down to minus 20 Celsius. Heating the human body, not the space. Personal warming techniques from archaeological evidence. Heat stones by the fire, wrap in wool, place against spine while sleeping. Body heat multiplication. Hot stones hold temperature for 6 hours. Iron hand warmers filled with glowing charcoal. Finds from Novgorod show personal heating devices traded along Norse routes. Small charcoal portions generate heat for 3 hours without smoke. Sleep positioning mattered for survival. Excavations at Trelleborg show sleeping arrangements. Families slept together in tight clusters. Parents flanked children. Shared body heat increased survival temperature by 8 degrees. Fur bedding layered specific ways. Bear fur on bottom for ground insulation. Wolf fur on top for air retention. Sheep wool between layers for dead airspace. Community heat sharing prevented deaths. Longhouse archaeology shows connected buildings. Underground passages between structures. Shared wall systems. Heat generated in one building warmed adjacent buildings through stone transfer systems. The Firkat excavations reveal heating channels running between longhouse complexes. Community survival, not individual survival. Emergency protocols for fuel shortages. Experimental data from Norwegian survival experts. Burn furniture in sequence. Tables first, then benches, then structural timber only as last resort. Estimated. Burn times. Oak table burns 12 hours, provides heat for 24. Birch bench burns 8 hours, heats for 16. Emergency heat sources. Animal fat burns clean and hot. Tallow candles provide light and heat. Bone burns longer than wood when fuel runs out. Desperate measures for extreme cold. Archaeological evidence from abandoned settlements shows final survival attempts. Burned wall timbers indicate fuel exhaustion. Household items chopped for kindling. Wooden bowls, tool handles, storage chests. Even clothing burned for warmth. Woolen. Textiles provide brief heat when mixed with fat. Metal objects melted down to create heat sources, copper and bronze. Hold temperature longer than iron. The Hythabu excavations show household artifacts systematically burned during the harsh winter of 974 AD. Emergency shelter construction inside existing buildings. Experimental archaeology proves room within room. Heating systems. Hang blankets or furs to create smaller heated spaces. Body heat accumulates faster in confined areas. Archaeological evidence from Staraya Ladoga shows temporary interior walls built during crisis periods. Stone hearths moved closer to sleeping areas. Concentrated heating for survival when fuel supplies failed. Water procurement in frozen conditions. Wells froze solid by November. Snow provides water but costs calories to melt. Your body burns 200 calories, warming 1 quart of snow water to body temperature. The Norse solution? Collect ice, not snow. Ice has higher water density and melts faster. Archaeological. Evidence from Greenland settlements shows ice storage pits, underground chambers where harvested ice stayed frozen until spring. Waste heat recovery systems. Longhouse floor excavations reveal heated floors in wealthy settlements. Hippocaust systems adapted from Roman technology. Fire-heated air chambers beneath stone floors. Residual heat warmed buildings for hours after fires died. The system required engineering, controlled airflow, precise stone placement, heat distribution channels. Only the richest jarls afforded such systems, but they proved Norse understanding of thermal engineering. Medical knowledge for cold injuries, frostbite treatment from medieval medical texts, gradual rewarming using lukewarm water, not hot, willow bark tea for pain relief, honey-wound dressings to prevent infection. The Lacknunga medical manual preserves specific treatments for frozen. Limbs take seal fat and mint, warm over slow fire, apply twice daily. Archaeological evidence shows these treatments worked. Few winter skeletons show amputation marks from severe frostbite. Vitamin D deficiency threatened everyone during polar night. No sunlight from November through January above the Arctic. Circle. Modern studies show severe deficiency causes bone disease, immune failure, mental breakdown. But Norse skeletons from northern settlements show normal bone density. The solution? Fish liver oil. Cod liver contains massive vitamin D concentrations. 1 tablespoon provides daily requirements. Archaeological fishing gear from Lofoten proves year-round cod fishing even in ice conditions. Seasonal preparation determined winter survival. Archaeological evidence from Shetland shows autumn slaughter patterns. Cattle killed in November, meat preserved while temperatures stayed near freezing. Sheep killed in October, wool harvested, meat dried before winter storms. Pigs killed in September, fat rendered into lard for cooking and lamp fuel. Timing mattered. Kill too early, meat spoils. Kill too late, animals burn body fat to stay. Warm, reducing food value. Harvest archaeology reveals mathematical precision. Grain storage calculations from gelling show measured stockpiling. Barley, yield per acre, 12 bushels in good years, 8 in poor years. A family of 6 needed 40 bushels minimum for winter bread. Storage losses to rodents and moisture, 15% annually. Therefore, harvest requirement, 46 bushels. Per family to account for spoilage. Archaeological granary remains show storage chambers sized exactly to these calculations. Fish preservation reached industrial scale. Archaeological evidence from Lofoten proves massive cod processing operations. Fish drying racks accommodated thousands of cod simultaneously. Processing timeline: catch cod in February, hang for 3 months, store in sealed containers by May. Dried cod provides 40 grams protein per portion, stores for years without decay. A single fishing season could provide protein for entire settlements through multiple winters. Export evidence shows surplus cod traded as far as Constantinople. Fire management during storms. Experimental archaeology shows keeping fires alive through 3-day blizzards. Banking techniques. Cover fire with ash and sand, creating slow burn that lasts 18 hours. Tinder preparation. Birch bark strips, soaked in pine resin, dried, and stored in sealed containers. Fire steel and flint in waterproof pouches. Backup fires and secondary hearths. If main fire died, emergency heat sources could restart the heating system. Carbon monoxide poisoning killed families who sealed buildings too tight. Archaeological evidence shows deliberate ventilation systems. Smoke holes in roof peaks with adjustable covers. Wall vents near floor level for air intake. Cross-ventilation prevented deadly gas buildup while maintaining heat. The balance required experience. Too much airflow meant freezing, too little meant poisoning. Surviving settlements show optimal vent placement learned through trial and error. Mental health management during polar night. Seasonal depression affects 90% of modern Arctic residents. 4 months of darkness breaks human psychology, but saga literature shows Norse understanding of winter madness, storytelling sessions, feast days, indoor games, craft work, keeping minds occupied. Archaeological gaming pieces from Iceland prove winter entertainment systems. Snafatafel boards, dice, carved chess pieces. Mental stimulation prevented psychological breakdown. Tool maintenance became survival priority. Iron tools rust in moisture. Blunt axes can't split firewood efficiently. Archaeological tool hoards show winter maintenance systems. Whetstones in every household. Oil preservation for metal tools. Leather wrapping for storage. Tool failure. In January meant death by March. Blacksmith work continued through winter. Emergency repairs, blade sharpening, metal recycling. The forge provided community heat while maintaining essential equipment. Weapon maintenance followed strict protocols. Archaeological metallurgy shows winter metalworking evidence. Sword blades required weekly oiling to prevent rust. Spear points needed sharpening after every hunt. Axe heads demanded daily inspection for hairline cracks. Metal fatigue in cold. Temperatures caused sudden failures. Archaeological workshops from Burka show specialized winter smithing, heated buildings dedicated to metal maintenance. Iron imported from bog ore required constant care to maintain tool edges. Precision tool manufacturing for winter needs. Archaeological evidence from Mastermere Hoard shows complete toolkits. Ice fishing required specialized gear, narrow spears. For under-ice hunting, curved hooks for deep-water fishing, ice chisels for hole maintenance. Woodworking tools needed winter modifications. Handles wrapped with leather for grip and cold, metal parts treated with fat to prevent freeze bonding. To hands, every tool optimized for frozen conditions. Fuel conservation reached scientific precision. Burn rates calculated by wood type and size. Oak logs, 3-inch diameter burns 4 hours, 6-inch diameter burns 12 hours. Splitting wood increases. Surface area burns faster but hotter. Whole logs burn longer but cooler. The choice between immediate heat and extended warmth. Archaeological evidence shows stockpiled wood sorted by size. Emergency fast burn pieces separated from slow burn logs. Emergency food sources when stores ran out. Archaeological evidence for famine foods. Pine bark ground into flour provides calories but little nutrition. Lichen scraped from trees contains limited protein. Fish bones boiled into broth extracts remaining nutrients. Leather boiled for gelatin, emergency calories from clothing and equipment. These techniques kept people alive during crop failures, but required knowledge of preparation methods. Building orientation maximized solar gain. Longhouse excavations show precise directional placement. Long axis runs east-west to capture maximum sunlight. South-facing walls built lower to let in winter sun. North walls built higher to block Arctic wind. Even limited winter daylight could warm interior spaces by 10 degrees when buildings faced correctly. This wasn't accidental. Archaeological site patterns prove deliberate solar engineering. Livestock management during extreme cold. Cattle survived in heated barns connected to longhouses, shared heating systems. Animals generated body heat. Humans provided supplemental warmth. Archaeological barn foundations show stalls placed along interior walls where human heat transferred through stone barriers. Cow body temperature, 101 degrees. Maintained barn temperature, 40 degrees when outside temperature hit -30. Food preservation used controlled fermentation. Experimental archaeology replicates 1,000-year-old techniques. Fish buried in sand with salt layers ferments. Safely at 35 degrees. Meat wrapped in birch bark with wild garlic develops beneficial bacteria that prevents spoilage. Dairy products fermented in wooden containers last months without refrigeration. The Norse mastered bacterial cultures centuries before understanding germ theory. Communal cooking conserved fuel. Archaeological evidence shows shared cooking areas. Large cauldrons served multiple families. Collective meal preparation used. Less firewood than individual cooking. Cooking stones heated in main fires, then transferred to food containers. Residual heat from cooking stones warmed sleeping areas after meals. Fuel efficiency through community cooperation. Emergency signaling. Systems connected isolated settlements. Archaeological beacon sites on hilltops throughout Scandinavia. Fire signals visible for miles. Smoke columns indicated settlement status. Continuous smoke meant survival. No smoke meant emergency. Neighbors responded to missing signals with rescue expeditions. Community survival networks prevented isolated deaths during severe weather. Communication. Networks operated with military precision. Archaeological beacon mapping shows signal chains across Norway and Sweden. Hilltop fire sites spaced at 12-kilometer intervals. Maximum visibility distance in clear weather. Signal codes indicated specific needs. Single fire meant a routine status. Double fires requested assistance. 3 fires indicated emergency evacuation needed. Archaeological charcoal dating proves these beacon systems operated continuously from 850 to 1200 AD. Rescue protocols saved isolated families. Archaeological evidence from emergency caches shows distributed survival supplies. Food and fuel stored at midpoint locations between settlements. Rescue sleds capable of carrying entire families through snow. Emergency shelters built along mountain passes. Stone foundations with roofed timber stockpiles. Winter rescue required careful planning. Teams of 6 men with specialized cold weather gear, enough supplies for week-long expeditions, backup routes, planned for severe weather conditions. Intersettlement cooperation multiplied survival chances. Archaeological trade evidence shows winter resource sharing. Surplus grain from good harvest years stored in common granaries. Shared tool maintenance workshops served multiple families. Community hunting expeditions provided meat for entire regions. Risk distribution through cooperation, individual family. Survival rate, 60%. Community survival rate, 92%. Archaeological cemetery evidence proves the mathematics worked. Water storage prevented dehydration. Humans need 2 quarts daily, even in cold weather. Archaeological storage vessels show winter water systems. Large ceramic containers held melted ice. Smaller vessels near fires kept drinking water from freezing. Dehydration kills faster than starvation in Arctic conditions. Maintaining liquid water required constant fire management. Clothing repair maintained insulation systems. Archaeological textile tools prove winter sewing work. Needles made from bird bones, thread from sinew, and plant fibers, patches sewn over worn spots before holes developed. Insulation failure meant death. Maintaining clothing became daily survival work. Spare wool stockpiled for emergency repairs. Indoor air quality management prevented disease. Sealed buildings accumulated moisture and bacteria. Archaeological evidence shows ventilation engineering. Calculated air exchange rates maintained oxygen levels while conserving heat. Too much fresh air meant freezing. Too little meant suffocation. Optimal ventilation required precise vent sizing and positioning. The Gokstad ship excavation revealed the ultimate winter survival find: a wooden chest containing emergency survival supplies, flint and steel wrapped in oil-soaked leather, concentrated. Food bars made from crushed nuts, dried berries, and animal fat. Medicinal herbs in sealed containers, small tools for emergency repairs. This survival kit, packed and sealed over 1,100 years ago, contained everything needed to survive unexpected winter emergencies. But here's what reframes everything. Soil core analysis from beneath the Trelleborg Longhouse shows human-modified ground reaching 6 feet deep. The Norse didn't just build on the surface, they engineered ground heating systems. Buried charcoal layers created insulation. Stone-lined drainage prevented ground frost. Heat-retaining clay barriers channeled geothermal energy upward. Winter wasn't something they endured. It was something they engineered their way through, one calculated degree at a time.